Let's start recording. Hi, everyone. So I'm really pleased to welcome Major Treone Cooley here today. We meant this to be a Facebook live feed, but it's a recorded session. So we hope you tune in and watch the whole thing. It'll be a great conversation about Treone's experience with Project Welcome Home Troops, what got her involved, as well as just Treone as a amazing, indomitable spirit, military service, mom, outdoors woman, hiking, skiing. What else do you do? Rock climbing, probably, whatever's there. She's a certified yoga teacher, a Zumba teacher, a piano teacher. So she's a kind of a Renaissance woman, and really glad to have her here. And most importantly, she's a Project Welcome Home Troops vet facilitator and has been with the project for quite a number of years, I think since 2012. But Treone, I think you and I first met maybe 9 or 10 years ago on a civilian version of the workshop that you took. And then that led you into Project Welcome Home Troops. So welcome, really glad to have you here.
Thank you. Yeah, you were my first teacher.
That's awesome. So tell me, Treone, a little bit about your military service. What kind of brought you into the military? And I think you've been serving for about 15 years now. So I know you've had a couple of deployments. Just tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I was going to college and realized I needed a scholarship. And so joined ROTC and appreciated it for a couple things, for the leadership aspect and then also the physical fitness aspect. I was definitely a physical fitness person. And upon commissioning, had a reality check of, oh, wow, what am I getting myself into? Here I am going into the military, and then got deployed to Iraq 2 years after I commissioned. I was a second lieutenant, which is what you first commission as, and then promoted in Iraq as a first lieutenant. And just a lot of challenges in that deployment, learning how to be a leader of soldiers that have been around for a very long time in the military. Very humbling experience, and also pretty intense. Definitely an opportunity to grow up and get better. And then here I am 15 years later, still in. And I think it's afforded me the opportunity to network and grow as a person, embrace other ways of doing things and try to just become more professional. So I'm thankful I'm still in the military. I'm very surprised, but because I can't believe I made it this long. But I've overcome some hurdles and I'm actually enjoying the current job I'm in now. And really just it's all about who you serve with. And so the people I serve with right now are keeping me going.
That's great. That's great, Treone. I know that yoga has been a big part of your life and you're a certified yoga instructor, and it seems kind of counterintuitive to military life. How have you, what drew you to that, and how have you found ways to incorporate yoga into your military world?
Yeah, I think it's they're definitely two different worlds. And I think the beauty of it is that there's nothing wrong with combining them because because yoga has so much to offer to veterans. And so what drew me to it was a physical fitness interest initially, and needing to stretch because I was doing lots of running and all that. And then I said, oh, wow, there's more to this than just stretching. There's a beautiful aspect, a spiritual aspect, and that has really calmed me down. I had a punching bag in college, and then I since done, learning the breathing that we'll talk about later, I'm sure. And that paired with yoga has been something that really interested me. And then bringing it into the military, I think I'm very thankful that I found yoga and I'm still in the military because I think that's beneficial to those I serve with. When I was in charge of a unit with about 200 soldiers, I used to do yoga for the physical fitness sessions, and they, would be sort of surprised at how much they liked it and how good they felt after it. So I've been very thankful to share that.
That's amazing. I think I remember getting an email from you after you took the civilian course with me, and you were in Kabul, I think in Kabul in Afghanistan as a contractor, and said, hey, remember that breathing I learned? I forgot some of it, but you mentioned that you were also teaching yoga there. in Afghanistan to some of the troops. So that's amazing. You just kind of carry that with you. And that's the beauty of these techniques. You can just carry them with you, right? Wherever you are, whether it's
Yeah.
yoga or breath work, you don't need equipment or anything like that.
Yes, that was my first. That was my first throwing myself into becoming a teacher. Was when I was in Kabul, Afghanistan, and I showed up, and the lady that was teaching, and it was all volunteer based. We all just were doing it because we needed it, and she didn't show up because she was sick, and they were about to show a video, and I was in teacher training at the time, and I said, "All right, Treone, you can do this. You can teach a yoga class," and I just that was my, the universe pushing me into that direction, and I was able to give. Free yoga classes for an entire year in Afghanistan. So great way to get me going on the teacher path.
That's great. That's great. You took, I think, your first power breath meditation workshop. I think it was in 2012 in Boise, Idaho. Um, and what was your experience? I know it was mostly younger veterans on that course. And I remember it very clearly because it was one of the first veteran courses I taught as well. I remember it being a very intense program. What was your experience of that being with other veterans compared to a civilian course, veterans who've seen things and experienced things that most people have not? So what was that experience like for you?
Yeah, very different, honestly. Becoming the vets facilitator, it is a process to become proficient at doing this and understanding the difference between the civilian population and the military population. And I think I noticed the intensity of the reactions to the breathing processes among the vet population, and then the camaraderie, the ability to share their experiences from their own lens and perspective. It's much better to have them among veterans so that they can feel comfortable in that camaraderie. So I noticed, that if they were among the civilian population, I think it just would not be the same experience for them because they wouldn't probably feel as comfortable in sharing their experiences. And then just the responses to the breath itself, the people with trauma have a very intense response to the power breath in a good way.
Yeah, and what I've
You know,
noticed is that we've both observed this in teaching, and Treone and I co-teach a lot on workshops. So I think we've taught, I don't even know how many workshops we've co-taught together, hundreds of vets.
lots.
But the experience, I think sometimes the intensity people experience equates to the benefits they have at the end. So people who are having the more intense experiences are ones who have often been carrying so much weight with them, and lack of sleep, hypervigilance, all kinds of things happening. And then we see at the end, um, like on our 5-day workshops, a pretty tremendous transformation. What's it been like for you to watch that transformation happen in individuals? And a lot of them are people, some of your soldiers, to come take these courses. So what's that like for you to, as a commanding officer, to kind of watch that transformation?
Really interesting. I think that that the responses at the end of the course are one of the big reasons why I'm so compelled to continue to volunteer for the program, is because of the things that come out of their mouth at the end about their experience, and just the difference you see in somebody coming in very clear anxiety to be in the course. Really, it's a very unique practice and technique that people are not familiar with initially, so they're very kind of just hesitant, and then you just see that transformation of the course when they at the end they're just like, wow, I'm so thankful for this. And just the transformation of just their body language, and then the words, the experience that they had. That's what keeps me going, I think, with it. It's
Yeah.
really fun to watch.
I'm amazed. I mean, you have such a jam-packed life with 2 little boys, military career, and all the other things I listed earlier. How do you, why is it so important for you to make time to teach these programs?
Well, if I don't make time for the breathing, then in my busy life, then I feel it. And so it has, and I'm going through a kind of a hard time right now. And so it has given me the strength I need to continue on, in so many ways, doing the programs, the next level silence programs and stuff. Uh, that's what keeps me, it keeps me sane, keeps me calm, reduces anxiety. I'm able to respond instead of react. And so I just think the way I can carve out time for my own practice is a similar shoe in to why I think it's important to carve out time for other veterans, because hopefully that's giving them the gift to then do what I do in my life, right? To then allow that stress release. So I
Yeah.
just, and it really is carving, because yes, I am very jam packed and got two very young kids. And so, I think that it's been really, really challenging sometimes when I commit to the class and then there's stuff that comes up. But in the end, I never regret that. And it's worth my time every time.
Amazing. Yeah, I was talking to someone recently, and I agree with them. They said that veterans are America's greatest asset, and I wholeheartedly agree with that. And I see such leadership qualities, and everyone who comes into our classroom and taking someone. I kind of think of it like putting people back in the saddle of their lives. So if they've been going through something, it's you and I both hear this phrase a lot. I got myself back, right? Is something we hear quite often, or it's Treone 2.0. It's just an improvement on the person that's there. And I think a lot of the workshop is sort of peeling back those layers of stress that people carry, so that um, our natural qualities that are leadership qualities, creativity, service, all of those things start coming out when those layers of stress are relieved. And I think you and I have had the benefit of teaching primarily in Boise, Idaho, and getting to follow vets for years and see their lives unfolding.
Mhm. Yeah. I think that they um, are, they're hesitant at first, even the ones that have taken it once, before. And once we can kind of, just get that ball rolling, it's always worth it. It's always worth that effort.
Yeah.
Even in the recruiting efforts, which can be kind of difficult at times, particularly in my case, where I'm walking around with a bunch of, hard-faced veterans that are like, what is this breathing hippie stuff that you're talking about? I'm what do I need to learn how to breathe? I'm breathing right now. They'll say stuff like that. And so just my ability to promote it in a way that allows them to understand, why it's worth their time, has been, I've learned a lot, in how to talk about the program. And,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
know,
You yourself, you mentioned in college you kind of had a punching bag to kind of take out frustrations or anger. I've seen such a transformation in you. What do you observe in yourself through these years of doing breath work and meditation and yoga? And what are the benefits that you've seen kind of manifest in your life?
yeah, I think that the spikes of emotion used to be very rigid and very obvious, very up and down, you know, quicker to anger, quick to get sad, quick to do all these things. Now it seems a softer curve of
Mhm.
emotion.
Mhm.
And it's and I'm much more aware of my emotions in the moment, able to feel present with it, able to let things go that I can't change, able to feel that whatever you resist persists, right? So just, I think I've just noticed, and my friends have noticed too, a whole softness and transformation to me that, yes, in college I had a punching bag and somewhat, some would say just, I was kind of aggressive and intense, and um, I would say that I'm still more described as intense in the military, because I'm definitely a leader and I'm definitely alpha, but there's a softness that has come, and a diplomacy, I would say, a diplomacy that has come, that I don't always have to be right, and I don't have to react. I can take a breath, and I don't have to send that email really fast right now because it made me mad. I can
Yeah.
do some breathing techniques. I can let things go. So yeah, it's beautiful to have it in my life.
Yeah, that's amazing. And we hear so many veterans, I think the reintegration process once vets separate from the military, even while they're still serving, is hard because you all are trained to be a certain way to do your jobs effectively. And then coming back and integrating into family, and that softness isn't there, I think creates a lot of obstacles. And so this is a beautiful thing of, sounds like you're able to kind of, be very effective in your role as an officer, but when you come home, the softness can come in. You can kind of have both of those things. It doesn't have to be one or the other, or having emotions or some softer edges doesn't make you weak. It makes you stronger, actually. So
Absolutely.
that's really
Well, and
beautiful.
even in the course of the job, working with men, we don't have to talk about men and women issues, but clearly, working with that sort of rigid environment, even bringing a diplomacy to that,
Mhm.
from the techniques, really,
Yeah.
that I know that's real. I know that's happened for me.
hmm As you
So
said, it's that ability to pause and be responsive rather than reactive, and that reactive mind we always regret later, like, oh my God, why did I say that thing? Why did I
yes.
do that? Right. So you're probably uh, giving examples to your soldiers and to fellow officers of, these are, you can be different, you can be effective, but also not be so intense. Right.
Yeah, and I wanted to be clear, like, we don't, you know, and I always tell people this, that come take the program. It's not going to be the answer to all of your problems, right?
Right.
It's not this magic pill,
Yeah.
because there's no such thing, right? So, but what it is a as a tool and a technique that can just be there with you, like a companion. And the more you use it, the more it's there for you. And
hmm
I don't want it to come across that, like, yes, I'm this, enlightened, perfect person that doesn't react,
Yeah.
because I still react and get mad and angry, but there's an awareness to it now, right? There's a
Exactly.
softness to it.
Exactly.
And it's also this beautiful progression of, it's a lifelong practice. That's the yoga also.
Mhm.
It's lifelong, and so there's always room for improvement, and that's exciting.
Right. Yeah, life is always going to happen. There's always going to be challenging moments, and these tools give us ways to manage them more gracefully, and to
Right.
not hold on to anger or strong emotions so long. It more becomes like that ripple in the water rather than an intense, few months of uh, struggle. So yeah, so it's a really cool thing. So Treone, we're this year, it's a time of year, it's the giving time of year. And Project Welcome Home Troops, we've brought our program online, which has been amazing. And you and I have co-taught some online programs. So since May, we've adapted our Power Breath meditation workshop to an online format. And we really want to do a lot more. We want to reach more. We're training new batches of teachers. So donor support is so important. And to keep the program growing, we really want to expand the program, add some more staff. What would you say to a donor? Like, why should they contribute today? Why is it so important to support this particular Project Welcome Home Troops program?
Yeah, it's hard because there's donor fatigue in the philanthropic world, right? And people probably feel inundated on these types of days where there's lots of nonprofits asking for money. And so I think we all have to figure out a cause that we want to champion, and understand it to its core, if that's where we want our money to go. So what I would say is, do a little research, reach out to me, reach out to you, and ask any questions that they want, to then decide, okay, if I want to champion a veteran program, which one do I want to champion? And then I'm just here to tell them that this is by far a great choice in that realm.
Yeah.
So filter through what you'd like to champion, and then recognize that what we will do with the money is that it's 100% goes towards the healing of veterans.
Yeah.
So
Absolutely. I've had some veterans who've also set up their own fundraisers for Project Welcome Home Troops. And they said the reason they did it is because this program gets results. So there's a lot of great, I don't want to diss any veteran service organization out there, right? They're all doing amazing work.
yeah.
But what I think what separates Project Welcome Home Troops a little bit is it gets results, and it gets them quickly and effectively, without the use of medication and those kinds of things. And it also is building camaraderie that people may have lost, and kind of getting people back into their engaged in their lives. And we actually have a lot of veterans come on the course who have suicidal ideation or have made suicide attempts before, and had them say at the end, I'm thinking about my future now, I'm making plans. And that's huge, that in 5 days, like you said, it's not a healing everything, but the way I see it is like if someone's in a dark room and you crack open the door and they see sunlight and they have that experience of a moment of peace, of a quiet mind, and say, oh, okay, this is out there, that's available to me. And it gives people a whole new inspiration and motivation to keep going in their lives. So I'd say for what, what you shared and just this is just such a fantastic program, primarily driven by volunteers. We have Treone is our oldest vet, but not oldest by age, but oldest by years of service, vet facilitator. And, our veterans are really the heroes and the champions of the program because they know it works. They're getting the word out. So we ask our donors today, if you haven't considered us before, to think about Project Welcome Home Troops in your gift giving this year. And we look forward to coming back on Facebook again with more veterans to share their stories. So Treone, thank you so much for being here today. It was a pleasure, and look forward to teaching again with you soon.
Yes, thank you very much. I hope we make some great support here during this Tuesday. Is Tuesday Giving, right?
Giving Tuesday and through the end of December. If today's not your day, take your time through the end of December.
Ah, yes. Tax year, until the end of the tax year.
That's
yes.
right. Thank you, everyone.